What's up, everyone? It's Nick D, back with another video. Now, if you're new to this channel, I've been trading since 2016. I'm one of the top earners on Breakout, one of the largest prop firms in the world. I was the fastest to hit $200,000 in payouts in the world on Breakout. I did it in under 5 months. I've been ranked on the leaderboard multiple times in a row. And yeah, I've been trading for a long time. Okay, so in this video, I want to tell you guys the truth about why you should never trade with your own money. I'm going to tell you, first of all, out of experience, and second of all, I'm going to tell you the psychology behind why, as a beginner trader coming into the market, you should never deposit your own money. Now, I'm going to take you back to 2016 when I first started trading. Prop firms were around. Okay, so a prop firm is essentially a company that funds everyday people with capital. And if you can trade within their guidelines successfully, they will let you keep industry standard around between 70 to 90% of the profit, depending on what firm. Now, they did exist when I started trading. There was a prop firm in the city called Propex in Sydney, and I actually applied to work there. I only had like 12 months trading experience. I was starting to get a little bit of results, but I wasn't a profitable trader at that point. And essentially what they would do in the past is they would have funded accounts, so real capital, okay? And they would essentially, you'd go in for an interview process, you'd show them your track record, they would teach you their strategy, their style, and you would sit in a fucking office and trade all day. And you would keep a split of the profit. I don't think the salary was that much. I think maybe some of the traders had salaries depending on their performance, but I know for sure when you started out, it was just profit split. I never believed in prop firms. 100% being upfront with you. I thought the whole fucking industry was a scam, and I thought that you would never get paid out. The reason around that is because when you first hear that there are these firms out there that actually provide you with capital, they take on the risk, and you keep a majority profit split, it sort of doesn't make sense, right? It sounds way too good to be true, but it also, something in your human brain clicks, and it's like, why don't these firms just hire professionals? Why don't these firms just invest their own money? And it's because you need to understand how the industry works, and we're going to loop back to this. We're going to loop back to how the industry works. Why you shouldn't trade your own money is very, very, very simple. Emotion. Now, you should only ever put your own money into the markets if you are a full-time trader. Now, if you make a little bit of money through trading and it's a majority of your income, you're not a full-time trader. When I say full-time trader, I mean what I was doing in 2017, 2018, where you are legitimately living off your trading income, okay? Now, if you are not needing to do that, there is no reason you would ever need to put your own money into the markets, okay? The first part of this is, as a beginner, when you put real money into the markets, you have to think about how everyday people earn income. They spend time making money, okay? And when someone puts that hard-earned money into the financial markets and they lose it, it builds financial trauma. And it's very, very hard to recover from that learning how to trade, okay? The second part of that is, even some of the best traders, myself included, I have liquidated live accounts. I have lost 30, 40K live accounts, real money. And it's not because I didn't know how to trade. It's not because I didn't have the skill or the knowledge. It's because every single winning trader will go through losing streaks. And when you're going through losing streaks with real fucking money, you will lose a lot. And if you understand how the art of drawdown works, the more that you lose of that capital, the higher return percentage you have to make to get above the mean. Now, I could go very, very technical into this, but if you're someone who's just stumbled across my channel, I am 100% telling you right now, do not trade live capital, okay? Even if you get to a point where you're really, really good at trading, and you have the skill set, because you don't need to. You fucking don't need to put your own money into the markets anymore. There are firms out there that will give you simulated capital, meaning it's just purely notional demo funds. And the way that these firms, now we're looping back to how these firms work. The way that these firms remunerate themselves is they understand the statistics in the market. They understand that 80 to 90% of traders will lose money. And they know that even a higher percentage of those people who have bad emotional financial trauma, have bad gambling habits, will lose even, the fail rate will be even higher if they implement drawdown rules. So most of these firms will give you guidelines to trade within. The industry standard would start at let's just say a daily drawdown and a max drawdown. So a drawdown essentially means from your starting balance, how much have you lost? Okay, so let's say you had $100,000 of capital and you're in 1% drawdown. That means that your capital is sitting right now, your equity is at $99,000. So these firms know that with these guidelines, they can capture a market of traders who have gone through financial trauma and don't have real risk management. They don't really know how to trade, and they're getting these people to buy challenges, right? So they're making a lot of revenue through these evaluations, okay? The second part is they have something called A and B book. Most good brokers will have an A or B book. An A or B book means if you are in the B book, it means you are essentially who they hedge against. So I want you to imagine this analogy here. Let's just say you had 100 players, soccer players on the field, and 30 of them, for example, 30% of them had a statistical record to be really, really fucking good, right? You're consistently going to bet on those people every single time, right? Because you know that they have a track record, the data's showing that they're good, and over time, over a larger sample size, they're going to generate more profit than they lose. Or they're going to kick more goals than are scored against them, right? Whatever. Imagine the other 70% though. You're going to have such a larger sample size of people who are losing, right? Or who are shit soccer players, or who are missing goals. So imagine you could use your own capital that you're generating from the evaluation fees to essentially trade against, right? You would basically have an unlimited way to create income. And that's essentially how the industry works, is prop firms aren't hard to trade. It's not hard to make profit through prop firms. Being 100% honest, I've taken complete beginners who have never touched a financial chart in their life, and some of them are hitting leaderboards, some of them have quit their full-time job through prop firm trading. There is a specific way to trade prop, and you need to learn how to do it that way. It's not the same as traditional day trading. With traditional day trading, you have unlimited drawdown. You can essentially trade as many times as you want, and you go into an emotional trauma with live capital, because every single time that you put a trade on, your heart is racing because you're risking real capital. With prop firm, you need to look at it more of a business. How much am I paying for an evaluation, right? And what is my eventual payoff? And how long does it take me to recoup that? There is a lot of ways and a lot more in depth I'm going to get into around prop firms, but I'm sort of the guy that these prop firms don't want you to listening to, right? Now, I'm not here saying that you're going to milk these prop firms. These prop firms are making more money than you can imagine, okay? But what I'm telling you right now is you should not start trading live capital no matter how good you get, because why would you put in $200,000 of your own money when you can pass a simple evaluation with a prop firm, get funding, and also have these really, really safe guidelines to trade within? Because I believe the prop firm rules actually create better traders. Think about this, right? Imagine you've got a $200,000 prop firm account and you've got 3% drawdown a day that you can take. So you've got $6,000 of notional risk you can take. If your average reward ratio is 2 to 1, that means your average expectancy upside potential is $12,000 in a day, right? So you can look at prop firms in two different ways. How much are they letting me risk, and compared to my reward, and how much overall buying power do I have? It depends what sort of trader you are. Same sort of shit. But essentially, guys, the moral of this story is prop firms are built to capitalize on traders who have already had financial trauma in the live markets. If you're a complete beginner starting out, I will put my money where my mouth is and say that you will actually be a better prop firm trader if you learn how to do it from the start. It is not hard. Do not listen to people saying that there's only a 10% pass rate. Yeah, I want you to tell me, I want you to get me the data of, out of the people taking challenges, how many of them actually know what the fuck they're doing. Probably not many, okay? Because people who go through my stuff and people that I teach, we get funded. I'm not saying every person's a success. It's not true. Some people just don't have it in them to be successful at prop firm trading. But we have over 100 funded traders in our community, and every single person that we teach starts out as a complete fucking beginner. That's pretty much it. So if you want live trading, prop firm, of course, I can't trade live capital on YouTube because of like regulations and stuff. So yeah, if you want to learn from me, I've got a lot of knowledge. I don't claim to be the best trader in the world. I do not claim to have all the fucking answers. Trading is hard, but with prop firm, I could literally take someone who knows nothing about trading, teach them the guidelines to trade within, teach them the mindset, the psychology, the art of building a bias in the market, and actually teach them those things in a time period of probably 7 to 14 days. I could have someone up and running pretty confident. And I believe that because I've done it myself. And I know what it takes to pass these challenges. I know what it takes to make consistent payouts. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm just milking these firms and every single time that I turn on my breakout portal, I'm pulling out payouts. I breach accounts. I blow accounts. It is normal. But in the end of the day, you need to look at the prop firm business as how much money do I put into evaluations and how much can I pull out. Peace out.